When Jose Mourinho speaks, the football world pays attention.
Xabi Alonso, his father was a manager. He was born with the father player. He grew up with the father manager. Then he became a player, of course, much better than I was. Then he became a player, a top player. His position on the pitch and his knowledge of the game very high, and then he played in Spain, in England and in Germany, and he was coached by Guardiola Bayern, by myself in Real Madrid, by Ancelotti, by Benitez in Liverpool. So I think if you put all this together, I think Xabi has conditions to be a very good coach.
Xabi Alonso walked back into the Santiago Bernabeu, not as a player this time, but as the manager. It felt like the beginning of something new.
He's coming to Real Madrid and have to do it from day one.
A new face on the sidelines, a new era, and what a start it has been.
They have the best striker in the world for me right now, Kylian Mbappé, the best goalkeeper, Thibaut Courtois.
Real Madrid are at the top of La Liga. Mbappe looks like his 2022 version again.
His runs have purpose in behind, much better than they did all of last season. The in-to-out runs, the movement that exploits and utilizes his own speed to leave defenders behind.
Arda Güler looks like Ozil's regen, and the team is more organized than ever before.
Again, is that down to Alonso?
Well, maybe.
They're going in the right direction. Ancelotti brought silverware, no doubt about that. He made history.
This is your fifth. Fantastic. I am a record man.
That eyebrow is legendary. But through it all, there was always this quiet question. Is he getting outclassed tactically? Against Flick's Barca, the gap began to show. Real Madrid realized they needed more than just experience. They needed a mind that could match the best tacticians in the world. And now they have one. Alonso had shown both at Leverkusen and during his career as a player that his footballing IQ is above everyone else. He's a symbol. He's a player who once wore the badge with pride. A galactico who lifted trophies and earned the love of the Bernabeu faithful. Cause that crowd is tough to satisfy.
Why do fans boo him or whistle at him?
Because we are the most demanding fans in the world. We just want everybody to be the best players and the most committed.
Bad performances are booed. There are high expectations. So the fact that Alonso is so universally loved by them shows just how good he was. He knows the weight of the shirt. He knows what it means to win at Madrid. And now as the man in charge, he brings with him not just a brilliant football brain, but the heart of someone who's always understood what Real Madrid is about. You see, Alonso had a lasting impact on Real Madrid long before he ever made the decision of getting into coaching. When he arrived at the club in the summer of 2009, he wasn't just another signing. He was already a European champion, a player who had proven his worth on the biggest stage.
It's Xabi Alonso!
Because just 4 years earlier, he was part of that legendary Liverpool comeback in Istanbul, the night that they clawed their way back from 3-0 down in a Champions League final and lifted the trophy. How funny is it that long ago, Alonso and Ancelotti shared the same pitch? That night, Alonso broke Carlo Ancelotti's heart. He scored, and he showed that he had that clutch DNA that Madrid always craved.
I can't really explain how did it happen, but
at Liverpool, he was the maestro, calm under pressure, brilliant on the ball, and always 2 steps ahead. He became the first player in Premier League history to complete over 1,000 successful passes in a single season. And when the big moments came, Alonso always delivered, like when he scored the winning goal against Chelsea to give Liverpool their first away win at Stamford Bridge in years. He was the heartbeat of that Liverpool team. He was the one who dictated the play, kept the team ticking. Think about a better looking Toni Kroos with a red beard. That's what he was for Liverpool. So when he left, it hurt. Steven Gerrard, who was the captain, his midfield partner, was devastated. He even admitted that Alonso's departure threw him off.
Oh, that's not on the telly.
Saying it was one of the reasons his own form dipped at the start of the next season.
When you left, it broke my heart. But you'll always have a special place at this football club and you're always welcome to come and visit.
That's the kind of player Alonso was. He wasn't just brilliant, he was genuinely irreplaceable.
In terms of the club, he would definitely be in the top 5 of the midfielders that we've had.
Yeah, he's just a game changer, a solid player.
So when he landed in Madrid, it wasn't just a normal signing. It was the arrival of a proven winner. A midfield general who knew how to lead, how to fight, and more importantly, how to win. Because remember, during this period, Real Madrid were struggling. They were looking to rebuild.
Therefore, of the night, an emphatic 5-0 aggregate win over Real Madrid.
As Barcelona were dominating, they had just won the treble. So Alonso was part of the Galactico summer. Him, Ronaldo, Kaká, Benzema, they were all brought in to elevate Real Madrid to the next level. How much do you guys think these four would cost in today's market? When players like Anthony and Højlund are going for almost 100 million, I feel like these guys would have cost a country's entire GDP. The fact that Alonso was a galactico is so important because that means he knows what it takes to win when all the pressure of the world is on your shoulders, and what it takes to win when you have a locker room filled with superstars and egos. Because wherever you looked on that Madrid team, there was a world-class player somewhere seated. Alonso was given the number 22 shirt and went straight into the heart of midfield. Not just any role, he was the anchor, the deep-lying brain of the team. And from the very start, he was incredibly trusted. Because in his first season, unless he was injured or suspended, he started every single match in both La Liga and the Champions League under Manuel Pellegrini. That's how important this guy was. That in a team with Ronaldo, Kaká, it was Redbeard that had to be on the pitch at all times.
If you can control the midfield, then you have more possibilities to win the match.
He was willing to take penalties in a team that had Cristiano Ronaldo. So if you're worried about him managing egos, don't be, because he was able to handle Ronaldo, a player with one of the biggest egos in football history. That season, Madrid finished with a club record 96 points, and yet it still wasn't enough to beat Barcelona. But Alonso had done something remarkable again. It was the third time in his career that he had helped a team break its all-time points record. He had done it before with Real Sociedad and Liverpool. But unfortunately for him, each time he helped do that, his team still finished second. But you couldn't deny his impact. He ended the season with 3 goals, but you don't need stats to see Alonso's impact. He was one of the most consistent and reliable players in the squad. And thankfully back then, people weren't stat merchants. They actually noticed. The readers of Marca voted him into their La Liga team of the season as the top defensive midfielder, alongside the only other Madrid player, Cristiano Ronaldo. ESPN also agreed, listing him as one of the best midfielders that year. Even La Liga itself took note, nominating him for the best midfielder alongside Xavi and Javi Martinez. And as the season went on, fans started calling him by his new nickname, La Barba Roja, the Red Beard. I just know women in Madrid couldn't wait to sit on his face. The nickname was a sign of affection, of admiration. His second season in Madrid began with a major change. Mourinho arrived as the new manager, bringing in with him a new energy and sky-high expectations. With Guti leaving the club, Alonso switched to the number 14 shirt, a number that he would make iconic. He didn't score any goals that season, but that didn't matter. His influence went way beyond the score sheet. He was the calm in the storm, the player Mourinho relied on to control games from the middle. And by the end of that year, Alonso had helped Real Madrid lift the Copa del Rey, his first trophy with the club. The following season started with fireworks. In the Spanish Super Cup against Barcelona, Alonso scored at the Santiago Bernabeu in a 2-2 draw. Then just a month later, he reached a milestone, his 100th appearance for Real Madrid. That season, the club finally did it though. They broke Barcelona's grip and won La Liga. For Alonso, that was actually the first league title of his career. Kinda crazy. The man won a World Cup, a Euros, and a Champions League before he won a league title. And I think what made Alonso stand out so much during that period was that he was always classy, which was rare, because Mourinho's Madrid was incredibly polarizing. Between Mourinho himself, Cristiano Ronaldo, Ramos, Pepe, you either loved them or hated them. There was no in between. But Alonso was one of the few guys on that team where he was universally loved. I don't know anybody that hates Xabi Alonso. Even Barca fans liked him because he didn't play with the intention to kill players like Pepe. He didn't trash talk like Mourinho or tell the entire stadium to calm down like Ronaldo. Now don't get it twisted, he still played tough. He fought for every loose ball. He wasn't afraid of putting in a crunching tackle. It's just he did it with humility and class.
Interno entendimiento del juego.
Now the other reason he probably wasn't hated, at least in Spain, was because he was part of the Spain national team that dominated everyone. He was there in 2008 under Luis Aragonés, winning the Euro. Then in 2010 he was at the heart of the midfield when Spain won the World Cup with Del Bosque. He continued playing on for another hour, which speaks to Alonso's mentality and competitiveness. He wasn't going to walk off that pitch in a World Cup final unless he was being dragged out. But this is also what I mean. Alonso was a holding midfielder, but he wasn't some dirty player. Nobody remembers his fouls or what caused him to get a booking, except maybe the time he purposefully got a yellow per Mourinho's request. Alonso was remembered for his beautiful long balls and wonderful shot. His technique was flawless. You can even see him being levels above everyone else at Leverkusen when he joined in the training sessions. Then in 2012, he he was still there with the Spain national team as they won the Euros again. Think about how stacked Spain's midfield was during that period. Xavi, Iniesta, David Silva, Busquets. There were so many good midfielders that some of these guys played on the wing. So many top players were never even selected, and yet there was Xabi Alonso, not just a part of the team, but one of the most important players. By 2014 at Madrid, he had become a true leader in the squad, and his manager at the time was the person he's replacing now, Carlo Ancelotti. That same year in the Champions League semi-final, Madrid stunned Bayern Munich with a 4-0 win in Munich, one of the most dominant European performances in club history, and Alonso was there the whole time. Unfortunately, he did get a yellow card which suspended him for the final, but he had played his part. Still, he was right there on the sidelines as Madrid made history, beating Atletico Madrid 4-1 in extra time to lift La Decima, their 10th Champions League title, the trophy they wanted the most when they got Alonso and all the other galacticos in the summer of 2009. Alonso unfortunately couldn't play, but he had earned that medal. He was a part of the soul of that team. Just look at him sprinting when he knew that Madrid were going to become champion. After that, Alonso went to Bayern, where he learned more as he played under Pep Guardiola and under Ancelotti again one more time. To be a part of this many iconic teams led by managers who have had such a long-lasting impact on football, it helped Alonso form a new, unique vision on how the sport should be played.
In Madrid, most of our style was very quick transitions, not that much elaboration, whereas more attacking with quick actions.
It's why he implemented a direct style in his Leverkusen side. Alonso used a pretty versatile 3-4-3 formation. It was a 3-back going forward, and then it would transition into a 5-back when Leverkusen were defending. From his managerial debut, it was obvious that Alonso wanted his team to press up high to win the ball back quickly and then keep possession so that they could dictate the rhythm of the match. That day, they dominated Schalke with a resounding 4-0 win. The win showcased the talent of two young standout stars, Jeremy Frimpong and Moussa Diaby. It was a performance that made a bold statement. The duo of Frimpong and Diaby proved instrumental the entire season, because their speed meant that the box was always packed with players during fast breaks. It's also the reason why the fullbacks had so many assists. Another big reason for Leverkusen's success was getting Florian Wirtz back. Having a player who can score and create, well, it gives a big boost to the team. Under Alonso, Wirtz became one of the best young players in the world. Goals in big games, moments of magic. Now imagine Alonso having the same impact on Arda Güler, another young phenom who is super creative and has a boatload of talent. As the season went on at Leverkusen, Alonso's tactics began to change, and he really made a focus on playing an attractive brand of football. After all, this is a guy who was part of some of the best teams that the sport has ever seen. The majority of the teams he was on as a player dominated possession. Whether it was the World Cup winning Spain team or the Bayern sides he played on under Pep, he was used to having the ball. But after his first Champions League game in charge, he realized that as a manager, he needs to be more tactically flexible. Against Porto, Leverkusen dominated possession and had 17 shots to Porto's 5, but they lost 3-0. This was when Alonso began to put extra focus on counterattacks and being defensively stable. Another moment that reminded Alonso the importance of being pragmatic was the semi-final of the Europa League. Alonso went face to face with one of his greatest mentors, Jose Mourinho. In the first match, Mourinho's team stayed true to their counterattacking strategy, typical Mourinho ball, and it worked. They secured a slim 1-0 win in Rome. The second match was classic Mourinho. His Roma team played the most haram low block possible in Leverkusen, managing to secure a 0-0 draw and advance despite the game being heavily dominated by Leverkusen. Alonso's side took 23 shots at goal, while Roma only made one attempt, which didn't even hit the target. But for Alonso, it was a lesson, and that's what makes Alonso so great, is that he's a student of the game. He learned from that experience and focused on making a more dynamic system that actually balances possession with a counter-attacking threat, because he didn't want to keep losing games where he dominated possession. The point of the game is to score, not to keep the ball as long as possible. In the next few games, Leverkusen still focused on controlling the middle of the field, but now in other matches, they were able to play defensively, waiting for the other team to make a move and then quickly attacking using their fast players. Alonso had learned from his mistakes. As the seasons went by, he slowly integrated a more traditional Spanish playstyle focused on possession, without compromising the directness that has brought them so much success. This is the first time in a while that Madrid have had a manager who has a clear tactical identity. He has spoken multiple times about how he wants his team to play.
That reading of the game, it's important. Where is the space and who is the free player?
Now, Alonso has played for so many great teams and managers that his philosophy is a hybrid of all of them, but he specifically mentions how much his time at Real Madrid impacted how he sees the game.
In Madrid, most of our style was very quick transitions, not that much elaboration, whereas more attacking with quick actions.
We are seeing the same quick transitions now. Look at Vinny's goal against Salzburg. A quick break. One ball from Bellingham in behind to Vinny, boom, goal. We also saw a similar counterattack goal scored by Gonzalo Garcia. Now, it's not like we haven't seen this exact passage of play in previous years. Ancelotti definitely uses tactics. You don't win that many Champions Leagues on vibes alone, as much as people want to convince you. But with Carlo, he kind of let the players solve problems on their own, on the fly. When they were winning games, it looked great. When they were doing bad, it looked awful. And the worst part was that there was no backup plan. Alonso, on the other hand, has specific patterns of play that he wants to see, especially in the build-up. A big question around him was whether he would implement the same 3-back system that he had at Leverkusen at Real Madrid. Because Madrid, they've never used a 3-back system regularly. And Alonso knows this, so he has established a hybrid system. You see some matches like against Al Hilal and Pachuca, the official lineup of the team is a 4-back. But when you watch Madrid build out of the back, many times they morph into a 3-5-2, like the way the team was listed against Salzburg. Let's look at this next clip. So what happens is Tchouaméni comes into play as the middle center back, pushing Hausen to the left and then Rudiger to the right. That gives Trent and Garcia the freedom to get forward. And now in case Madrid do lose the ball, they still have 3 defenders to cover. So yes, it opens them up and you don't want to lose the ball while you're building out from the back, but at least in this system, you're fine. Because in a 4-back system, if both of your wingbacks fly forward and you lose the ball, there's only 2 guys back. But in the hybrid system that Alonso's implementing, there's at least 3 defenders to give you a line of cover in case, worst case scenario, you lose it trying to play. So in possession, it's a 3-5-2. Out of possession, you will see a structure that looks more like a 4-4-2. Now, a lot of teams link up like this because it allows them to press man-to-man. But again though, as you can see, it's very fluid. Sometimes it will be a 5-back when they're defending. Other times it will be a normal 4-back as you're seeing in possession while they build up the play. Because of course Tchouaméni won't always be able to be open to come and collect the ball from deep. But ideally, they want him to get the ball in the center because that frees up Trent to go forward and it also allows Bellingham to also get further forward. Alonso himself has really expressed the term flexibility. He wants his side to be able to switch on the fly, to adjust within games. That's what they did against Pachuca because Asensio decided to get a red card. Alonso's initial game plan was thrown out the window, but the team adapted with 10 men and got the win. Either way, this is a great sign for Real Madrid fans because Madrid were too predictable in the 2025 season. Now, they look to be far more adaptable. Throughout his early days as a Real Madrid manager, Xabi has made one thing crystal clear. No matter the formation or the tactical tweaks, the team must press together. Unity in defense. Pressing as one. These are non-negotiable. It's something that Ancelotti struggled to instill last season, especially with players like Vinny and Mbappe walking up front, playing with their balls. I mean, we all saw the pressing numbers in the Champions League. Madrid were at the bottom. So coming in, Xabi has made his message very firm. Everyone is involved in all phases of the game. And it makes sense because we live in a time where you can't just rely on talent anymore. The best teams in the world all press together. They all press as a unit. It's 11 individuals functioning as one. There was a moment that actually happened during the Salzburg game that I'm going to show you guys in the next clip that made Xabi Alonso smile. With 75 minutes on the clock, Madrid lost the ball right after a corner, but then everybody sprinted back, willing to defend. Yes, it's early, but we are seeing Xabi lay out the pieces of his puzzle. We will get a clearer picture of what his Madrid is all about as time goes on, but the early signs are promising. Now, what should make Real Madrid fans very optimistic is that Xabi really understands Real Madrid's identity and what it takes to get Galacticos ticking, and that's because he was a Galactico himself. To see his journey as a Real Madrid player and how it has influenced his coaching philosophies, you have to check out this video right here.